Okay, first question. For some reason, I don't see you on here. So I'm gonna bump out, but I'm gonna have to ask you guys, can you hear me? Because I'm using new mics and you know how I do with technology. So I need to know if I sound, well, is there sound? That's probably the most important question. And I told you, I'm not a professional.
Better than me.
Right? Okay, am I in now? There we go. And we're a little far away, but that's okay because I wanted you to see all their beautiful product. Got it. Yay. All right. Looks like we got a few people in here. I appreciate you guys showing out for my pop-up live. Now, we are going to, I know some of you guys rewatch this. If you missed the live, we are creating content out of this and it will be uploaded. So you can go back, check that out. Any questions that you have, if you aren't here for the live, throw them in comments and I'll get them to Shireen or Andy or Jill and get them answered. Okay. I'm not seeing if anybody answered, if you can hear me. Of course, I don't even know if this is working. So I'm going to go with the fact that you can hear me. So I am in Caldwell, Idaho, which for those of you that have been here visiting me, it's about, from Star, about, what, 40 miles maybe? Yeah.
Yep, probably, yeah, something like that.
It's about a 45-minute drive from my area, and it's snuggled away. We're at Koenig Distillery. It's snuggled away like I'm surrounded by trees, like fruit trees, and it's in this area called Sunny Slope. So I got really lucky today, and you'll see it in the content video. I got to walk the grounds, and it's a beautiful day, which you guys know in Idaho we have not been having that. It's not been good. We got lucky. We got lucky. Oh, Z-Man says I'm good. Sweet. Thank you, Z-Man. I do have a couple of helpers behind the scenes. So if you guys have questions as we go along, they're going to highlight them for me so that we can get those answered. I'm sitting here with Andy and Jill Koenig. Okay. And they're my first on location live stream. So they've been really patient. But thank you guys. You've been very patient. I know we went and we walked some areas, and thank you for having me.
Oh, we're so glad to have you here.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming out and spending the afternoon with us.
Yeah, and Shireen is behind the scenes. She's gonna come bring us a beverage. Shireen actually set this up. I met her, didn't meet her, but got to know about her and vice versa through one of my neighbors. So you guys hear me talk about my neighbors. They work out together?
Yes, she comes to my gym.
Oh, so yeah, so they're working out, and apparently my neighbor is like, oh, well, I know someone who likes whiskey. And that was born about 6 months ago, I think, and we've been working on it ever since. So their whiskey, you can see kind of the lineup of some of their stuff here. It's Seven Devils. And you want to tell me, I know a little bit about your backstory and kind of how that happened, but tell me what your inspiration was to go to Idaho and make whiskey or vodka or brandy.
Okay. Well, it depends on how much time we have, but we first started the distillery in 1999. And I was inspired originally from when my dad grew up in Austria, and when we were kids, we lived there. And I was inspired by the whole craft distilling kind of culture that existed in Austria. And after college, I did an apprenticeship in Austria at a distillery that's been in the same family for 400 years. And I was able to learn the craft. And
did you say 400 years?
400 years. It's been there since 1680, I believe.
Wow.
So same family, same location. And I was kind of, fortunate enough to learn the trade. And when we came back to the Sunny Slope, where my mother grew up not far from here on a dairy, we purchased this property and planted orchards and vineyards and started the whole operation. So then we started distilling brandy in 1999. And in 2005, we started making vodkas. Then in 2010, whiskey became really popular. Mm-hmm. And we decided that we wanted to try our luck aging bourbon in Idaho and see how it would go. So in 2014, our first 4-year bourbon was released.
Okay, so you went brandy, then vodka,
yep.
then whiskey. Is that usually the order? Or is it, I think most people usually start with vodka.
Well, brandy was my passion
Yeah.
because it was a European thing, and that's kind of what I trained in Europe. And they're the dry European style brandies, which I always enjoyed. And then vodka became really popular, and then we tied the Idaho potatoes to vodka production, and the huckleberry vodka, and then peach vodka from our orchards. But then the whiskey boom started in the early 2010s, and we started aging bourbon here in 2010 is when it was.
Okay.
So we kind of did things backwards, I guess, but that's the way we operate here.
If the last 10 years has not been a bunch of pivoting, then I don't know what has. So, and that is one thing that was really cool is, so there's a couple things that Koenig has partnered with. And one of my favorite was recently the Craft Lounge bottle that came out. A friend of mine brought that over to taste, and I fell in love with that. And that was a specialty release, right?
Yeah, so we started it's called a single barrel Seven Devils. And what happened was the staff from Craft Lounge came here, and they were able to pick through the barrel cellar, and they picked a nice barrel that they liked. We sampled through several of them, and then we bottled it specifically for them. And it was available specifically in their location, and we had a little bit here in our tasting room. So it was a specialty item. It was about an 8-year whiskey, a bourbon that had a bunch of rye in it. So they really liked it, and it fit their profile, so we went with that.
It was really good, which is ironic because back when I tasted it, when it was first released, I was not a huge fan of rye or high rye bourbons, and man, that stuff is good. I was a little sad when that was gone.
Yes, I think they have a few bottles left, but they still make a few drinks at Craft Lounge.
At Craft Lounge.
It's gone.
Okay, so Craft Lounge is, little plug for them, is like a speakeasy here. They have one in Nampa, and they've got one in Caldwell, and the cocktails are fantastic. And they have their own syrups and bitters, and they're all house made.
Yes.
And you have those here.
We do.
Okay. So we know you're doing whiskey and brandy, and can you kind of run through the different spirits that you guys are currently have released?
Starting with the brandies, we'll start there. We have, that's all grown here on the Sunny Slope. We have probably our most popular, which is the pear brandy. And then we have an apricot brandy, a cherry brandy, and a plum brandy. And those are all European style, aged clear. So they're not aged in barrels. They're aged between 2 and 6 years before they're bottled.
Okay, I gotta say, I saw this, it blew my mind, because I think of aging anything as in barrels, or I walk in and no, it's totally clear. It's not in barrels. It's in these big
Carboys. Yep.
Carboys.
Yes.
Yep.
It was really cool. They're just stacked like floor to ceiling. It was really neat to see.
And one of the things I never realized until I got involved in this business is the amount of fruit that it takes to make one bottle of our brandy. On average, is it 36 pounds about?
Yeah, it depends on what fruit we're talking about. The pear brandy takes at least 20 pounds of fruit to make a bottle. We have also distilled raspberries in the past, where it took almost 70 pounds of raspberries to make one little 375 bottle.
No way.
Yeah, and it was a great item, very popular, but it was also very expensive to produce, so it is no longer available. But it takes at least 20 to 25 pounds of apricots, pears, plums, cherries to make a little bottle. So it's very fruit intensive, but the aromas and flavors are wonderful.
And you grow the fruit here.
We do. We purchase a little bit of fruit from surrounding neighbors that have orchards here on the Sunny Slope, but nothing more than 5 miles away from this location.
So I was just thinking, I'm envisioning that amount of raspberries for that little bottle. The people picking the raspberries, or the machine, or I mean, holy moly.
Yeah, it's a lot of raspberries.
That's a lot of raspberries.
So,
hey, so it looks like we've got Z-Man, we've got Christine Vasco, Slapshot Roadhouse. We've got a few people in here. My husband's in there. He says hello. So we've got the brandies, and you're not doing raspberry anymore. The peach one, that piques my interest. So I'm curious about that. And then you've got what?
So then on the vodka side, we have potato vodka, because we're in Idaho, right? So we have to have potato vodka. And that was our first vodka we released. And then we ventured into making huckleberry vodka, which we take potato spirits that come off of our still, and then we macerate freshly picked huckleberries in the vodka for 6 weeks. Then we redistill them, and that's what makes the vodka clear again and gives it its nice aroma. So huckleberries are a very intense thing too, because they have to all be hand picked, which is a lot of work. And very intense.
Huckleberries are,
and huckleberries can't be cultivated, so they all have to be picked in the wild. So that's kind of
you go to buy huckleberries and you're getting like this much because somebody was up there doing this.
Yep.
So
Yep.
Fortunately, they're very aromatic and they stretch quite a ways, but they all have to be handpicked in Idaho at a certain elevation too. They only grow, at certain elevations, obviously, if you've ever picked huckleberries in Idaho, and they won't grow at the elevation here where the distillery is.
Yeah.
So that's why we procure them up by Riggins, actually.
which is probably why a lot of the huckleberry vodkas around here aren't hand-picked huckleberries put into it.
Yeah.
No, we use, our own fruit for our brandies and whatever, but we also procure real fruit for our products. A lot of competitive products are made differently than we do, but we try to focus on the quality and making, use of the resources that we have here.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. To me, that's like the true grain to glass, your fruit, your everything, well, not everything, most everything is coming from here.
Yep.
Correct.
So you use the fruit in the brandies and the vodka.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. And do you have just potato vodka?
We have the potato, and then we have the huckleberry, and then we have a peach vodka from the orchards are right out here that you saw when we did the little tour a little bit ago. So
I was telling Shireen and Jill earlier that I love making a mojito out of huckleberry vodka versus the rum.
I think you're going to need to put the recipe out.
I think I'm going to I'll have to put it down in the description. If you guys have any huckleberry, peach vodka, any of those recipes, throw them in the comments. And maybe I'll grab some and add them to the content video as well. So now, we talked about Craft Lounge, but the big one is that you guys partner, and not just partner with, let's talk about the Caldwell Night Rodeo. I mean, Caldwell Rodeo here is huge. It's a big deal. And so Koenig has a whiskey for that you release every year, correct?
This one right here.
yes, we do. So we partnered with the Caldwell Night Rodeo 3 years ago, and it's been a great partnership for everybody. And we decided that we would make them a special release that would be available to all customers, but it's available throughout the year in all the liquor stores. But it's specifically a Caldwell Night Rodeo mash bill, and it has a lot more rye in it than our regular bourbon does. And it's also a couple years older. It's more of a 6 to 7 year bourbon, but it's been a great product. It's a little higher proof, and people seem to really like it. So it's been an awesome relationship with another local business, or actually it's not really a business. It'd be a nonprofit, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a humongous event.
Well, the other thing too is the proof corresponds with the year of the rodeo. So this year will be their 100th anniversary. So we'll have 100 proof in a new label to highlight that and to celebrate with them.
So you do a new release every year just for that.
Yes, we do.
The middle glass has the Caldwell Night Rodeo. This is
Oh.
99.
This one here?
Yes.
Glass, yes.
Okay. Oh, look at the Koenig. I don't know if you can see it this far away. We're not that close this time, but they have cute little Koenig blends. Now, you do have a barrel proof.
Yes, we do. So we have a barrel proof. It's a very limited release. We bottle maybe 6 to 7 barrels at a time. It's always an 8-year bourbon or more. Some of them have even some 9-year barrels in them, and it's strictly out of the barrel into the bottle. So very, very little treatment of any kind to it, and it's been a big hit too. So
That's this one.
Handy.
and so
In the glass, yeah.
this would be the barrel proof.
So I came here a few years ago with a bunch of, there was like Lawrence Beamer and Lucy. We had Tim and Kathy Joe. I can't remember if Old Man Joe was with us or not. But we had a group of people, and we came out here. I had never been here before. And I think we were the only people there. And they're like, I know you're not a club member, but I'm gonna give you a little taste. I'm not getting anybody in trouble, but you're getting a little taste of this membership stuff. And that was fantastic, fantastic.
And that's the one in front of you is our.
This one here?
Yeah, our,
Whiskey Club.
or no, that's our double oak is the one I poured for you. So
Okay.
Every 3 months, we have a different one.
I'm just kind of smelling some of these. Don't mind my nose. So this is this one here?
Correct.
That I can smell the rye on. Yeah. So other than the barrel proof, I'm trying to remember what we have here in proof. We've got 84.
So the bourbon, the regular Seven Devils bourbon, which is here, I believe, is 90 proof, and that's a 4 to 6 year bourbon. Then the rye whiskey is 84 proof, so it's a little lower proof, and we proof that one a little lower just because it's got more spice in the rye, and we didn't want to overwhelm people with too much spice, so we lowered the proof a little bit, which makes it a lot smoother and a lot better for cocktails. And then the next item would be the rodeo whiskey, which is going to be 100 proof this year because it's 100 years of the Caldwell Night Rodeo. Then the barrel proof is whatever it comes out at the barrel, which it's between 117 and 119 proof usually, somewhere in there.
Oh, nice.
So it's very, very strong.
Wow.
But it's very intense aromas, and with a little bit of ice, or even if you wanted to add a little water, it's really good. And then the Whiskey Club, which you see there on the end, that's a for our Whiskey Club members only, and that's a limited release that we do every 3 months.
Okay.
So there's always a different variation of it.
So this is probably what I had then when I was
Yes.
up here a few years ago. Okay.
Probably,
But it changes every quarter.
Mhm.
So
So I haven't had this one then. Okay.
Probably, maybe, I don't know. It depends on what they gave you.
That's true. That's true. Never know.
So,
you didn't talk about the honey.
and then this is a honey whiskey that we make, and it's half of our Seven Devils rye and half bourbon. And then we add real honey to it from bees that cultivate and pollinate our orchards out here in the spring. So we have beehives, they pollinate our orchard. That honey goes into the bourbon and the rye, and it makes a really, really good drink. It's one of our most popular items here in the tasting room. So it's great.
Wow. Okay.
And it's all local, of course. So
It looks like I've got some questions coming through, and I realize that I can't see them. So
Better get
I'm
your
gonna just
glasses
kind of,
on.
yeah, I'm gonna go into my mode here. Let's see. And then while I'm asking some of these, and you can speak to them, I'm gonna go ahead and drink some of your wonderful whiskey.
There you go.
Which one should I drink?
start with the rodeo whiskey.
Okay.
And so that's kind of a higher rye bourbon that's
This is the Caldwell Rodeo.
low rodeo. Yep.
Okay. I'm guessing the bottle on your left is possibly honey. Yes, that's a honey finish, Michael, which not finished in a honey barrel, but actual bees here on the property that made honey and you added it to your
Correct.
whiskey.
So
Okay.
it's bourbon, rye, and honey. Those are the
Okay.
ingredients.
And then we saw, okay. I know the distillery by me, Napa Valley Distillery, started with brandy and then branched or vined out. Okay. I guess, goodness, this is why I have a big projector thingy at home. So, and then if I remember right, you guys got married in like 2000?
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
And now you're in it. You're doing all the hats, right?
I would say I'm more of the creative side of the business. Everything from label design, I help with that. I do packaging, decorating our buildings.
Which is gorgeous.
Thank you very much. Anything, merchandise, all of the Caldwell Night Rodeo giveaways, banners, videos, all of that. Website. So I do more of the creative side. I used to be in the toy business, believe it or not. And I still stayed in the toy business when I moved here 25 years ago and flew all over the world from here. But then I decided to commit full time to doing this.
And when was that?
About 15 years ago.
Wow. Okay. So this is the Caldwell Rodeo. I'm telling you, especially, it doesn't taste like, I would probably put this as a little bit older whiskey sipping on it. So, not 15 years old, but it's definitely, it doesn't have that punch that some of the younger whiskeys will have, which I like. And I think that's why I've always liked the Caldwell release. It's probably one of my favorite. I wish I knew which one I tried because that was really good. And I don't see any of my friends that came with that. MC, I've tried one of their club picks. So that's my husband saying it was one of the club picks. And the rye that you have is really good, they said. So, William, I know you're in chat. Do you know if it was the club release or if it was their barrel proof that we both really liked when we came out here? Oh, I'm still getting that. That's got a pretty long finish on it. Okay, and then, so which was you had your flagship?
That would be the bourbon here, the regular straight bourbon. That's our flagship bourbon.
And then what was the next one and how did you get there?
So we started with the bourbon when we first started the whiskey release, and then we moved into the rye whiskey, which would be the white labeled one. And then after that, it was barrel proof. And then we partnered with the rodeo. And then this honey I've been working on for about 6 years, formulating and playing around with it because it's difficult to work with real honey to make the, the colors right and to make it shelf stable and all this kind of thing. So that one I've been working on for a long time, but it was released probably right after the rodeo whiskey. And then when we opened this tasting room here, we started the Whiskey Club. So the Whiskey Club releases are kind of the newest thing.
So tell me a little bit about the Whiskey Club. So when I was here before, that's when I was dumping all the money back into the channel. So I'm like, oh, I don't know about a Whiskey Club. That might be a bad idea. But I'm definitely going to get some information from you because I was just talking to my husband. We have friends that are part of that club. And so, yeah, I think we're definitely going to have to jump on that. But tell them a little bit about that.
So the Whiskey Club's for Whiskey Club members, obviously. It doesn't cost you anything to join. It's a $100 membership per quarter, and you will get a special variation of the whiskey, 2 bottles each quarter of whatever the selection of the quarter is, based on what I came up with, basically. So this past Whiskey Club, I guess, was what was last?
Maple?
Oh, we had a maple barrel finished whiskey, which was really popular and people loved it.
That's the one that sold out
very quickly. It sold out before the Whiskey Club was even finished. So, and that was bourbon that was 6 years old that we put back into a barrel that we had aged our maple syrup in, and it was in there for 90 days. And then we took it out and proofed it, and it's got just a tiny hint of maple to it. It's not sweet, but it has, you can taste a little bit of the aromas from the maple.
Oh, it's not that overkill of...
No.
Okay.
It's very, very subtle, and which I like to do. I don't like to overpower things with flavors like a lot of other companies tend to do. I like, it's still the bourbon to come out, but just a little bit of what the variation is or the expression for the quarter.
See, and I like that because the one thing is, if you're a whiskey enthusiast, you want to taste the whiskey and then you want to have a little bit of different notes in there from the finish. You don't want to come out with the finish and you're looking for the whiskey.
Right. Yep. So.
The other thing I was going to say about the Whiskey Club is with each launch, with each release, we have a party for all the Whiskey Club members. And sometimes we have live music, we have themes, the last one was the maple finish. And so we had a mini donut lady come out and made mini donuts with a glaze that had the whiskey in it. And then we did bacon from Downtown from Bacon, the candied bacon. If you've never had it before, it's delicious.
There's a restaurant called Bacon where you get a flight of bacon.
Yep.
So that was on the donuts.
Yes. So then we did the candied bacon with that. And then people could come out and then we have a full bar with, it varies, but often it's craft lounge, but there's some other bars. Shireen might be able to jump in and tell me what they are, but they'll come out and make cocktails as well. So it's a party, a festive occasion for people every time we release.
See, and I'm drinking this is the release currently, correct?
Yes.
So this has some punch.
So what is that?
That is...
The one I poured her, I don't know what bottle I grabbed it.
That's the Rye 101.
Okay.
Or no, the double. Sorry.
No, it says
She
Rye.
poured some.
So this is the one that was all the way to the right.
This is just
Got it.
That's a prop.
Sorry.
So which one am I drinking?
You're drinking the double oaked.
Okay, so that one.
Is that...
It would be
not on there. Okay.
a similar label to that.
Got it. It's a club release that's not in front of me.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. That's why I like it, that I love double oak.
There we go.
So-
We have 5 so far out.
Yes.
They're all similar in what the label looks like.
Okay.
So that that's the Whiskey Club bottle. But they all
Oh.
have just a slight difference in when they were released, what year, what season, and then of course, what they are.
Okay. Now, I don't know if you guys were able to hear that, but I get it. They're talking about how the club releases have pretty much the same label on each one with a little tweak for each release. This is the double oak, and what was the proof on this?
That, I believe, was right at 100 proof. So that one is a 7-year bourbon that I took a couple of nice barrels from the top of the warehouse, and I added winemaking oak chips to them that had a medium toast to them.
That's
for
good.
another 100 days. So it's very, very oaky, but it's got younger oak in it, I should say, because it's only a toasted oak instead of charred. And I think it paired pretty well, and it was a really popular Whiskey Club release. And
This is only 100 proof?
100, yes.
I would have guessed a little higher on that. That's good. I'm gonna have to check out your club membership.
Okay. Have another sip and you'll join.
Yeah.
Grab some other bottles.
Yeah, Shreen's on it. It's fine. Let's see what else we got going on. I want to make sure that we're getting any questions answered. With the trend of sippers liking sweeter whiskey, any plans to finish brandy in bourbon barrels and vice versa?
Oh,
Actually, if for people that like sweeter things, probably the honey is something that you might
Yeah, let me try this.
Just try. But to answer the question, we are actually experimenting around, and we're thinking about when we first started the distillery, we made a little bit of apple brandy, and we're thinking about adding apple brandy back to the once used bourbon barrels and aging them that way, similar to the way Calvados or Armagnac are barreled in France. So we might do a little something like that. As far as sweet products, probably the honey whiskey would be the item to try, I guess.
Yeah, that's sweet. It's not, okay. There's honey whiskey out there that I can't even get close to my nose. This isn't something I would reach for just because I don't like real sweet, but it is not offensive in the way that some can be.
I was going to say, I actually think it's a nice offering for someone who's not full whiskey, they're just not full into the whiskey, but they want to try it. And that is a nice sort of happy medium for them.
I bet this would be good on ice.
Yes.
I bet this would be great. Like one of my neighbors that aren't into whiskey that come over, they look at my whiskey bar and they're like, do you have anything other than whiskey? And I'm like, I got some Fireball over there. But something like this on some ice, I think that it would not seem like straight whiskey to them.
Sure. And that one mixes really well with ginger beer. It's a really popular drink.
Oh.
It's just a little honey and put it in a mojito.
Oh, I see. Now that might.
Sure. And some of our customers pour it on vanilla ice cream. They put it into their tea. So it's got a lot of uses.
Getting some creative whiskey tips.
But it's kind of a beginner's whiskey, and it's something that I kind of wanted to develop so that people who weren't big whiskey connoisseurs per se, but wanted to kind of dive into the category, they could try a little of that and dip their feet in it.
And it's not like eating a spoonful of honey.
No.
But you know what? I was just thinking, so I made a Gold Rush last night, but I don't want to take the time to make the honey syrup, simple syrup.
Right.
I'm betting you could use that with,
Recipe for you.
you do? Okay. So Shireen's going to get me a recipe. We might have to, so we also, we went away from it for a while. We're getting ready to re-release our Criminals and Cocktails, where we do true crime in a cocktail.
Oh.
And so I might have to take some recipes and I put them into my Patreon and they vote on which recipe we're going to do. So that'd be kind of fun. A Gold Rush out of the honey. I love Gold Rushes. So, but yeah, so when I start doing that, and then we have Clash of the Cocktails contest every year. It might be fun to come out and try some different things. So. Enough about me. So, but we were talking about pivoting, right? And, there was a lot of thing going on during COVID where the bourbons boomed, the YouTube channels boomed because everybody was at home and they wanted to drink and they wanted to socialize. And so that worked out really well for a lot of people. But there was such a shortage of things that a lot of distilleries went into making hand sanitizer to help out the medical field. And I do remember reading that Koenig was one of those that helped out a local hospital. Is that?
Yeah, so that's correct. So one day, or in the beginning phases of COVID, I got a call from the lead pharmacist at St. Luke's Hospital and said, "We don't have any hand sanitizer for the OR. Can you help us?" And so immediately we jumped into action, and we ceased all of our other production to fulfill orders for them to keep, the OR and everything open. And we made hand sanitizer in partnership with St. Luke's, and, just kind of got them through a phase. It wasn't something that lasted forever. We did it for like 4 or 5 months. But
that's a long time that
yeah.
you stopped production.
Yeah, and they couldn't get any sanitizer, so we tried to help them out, and it was good for the community, and I think people appreciated it, and it was good hand sanitizer too.
What was the base?
It was potato vodka. So
Potato vodka,
but it had, you have to add hydrogen peroxide and glycerin and stuff. So that people don't drink it and it sticks to your hands.
So people don't drink it.
But it was a World Health Organization formula that we had to kind of abide by with the pharmacists at St. Luke's. So yeah, it was a fun project. I mean, it wasn't a fun time, but it was kind of a fun project.
It's
anyway.
Stepping out. You feel good because you're helping, and it's something new to try and do.
Yeah, so it was good.
I thought that was super cool that someone could do that locally and help a local, medical facility. And
yeah, it was strange. They just weren't able to get any hand sanitizer for anything from anybody. So they reached out to us on a cold call, and I said, well, I guess we could try. So we did.
I'll pivot with you.
Sure. So that was a very interesting time.
And then this year, so we talked about the proof of the Caldwell because it's their 100th anniversary of the rodeo, but it's your 25th this year, right?
It is.
It is. You want to talk about that?
You doing something special for your 25th?
We're working on it.
Okay.
I'm not sure what we're going to do, but we definitely want to have some kind of party. It would be, is it August? I can't remember.
In August, yeah.
Yeah, August will be the 25th. So we'll sort of focus that month on some events out here, just so people know that, it's a special occasion for us.
Yeah.
And we're going to maybe start putting it on some of our bottles to let people know that we've been in business for 25 years.
I mean, and I think when you think like, 25th anniversary, that's awesome. When after, doing some research and talking to you guys and Shireen, it's 25 years of working 75 acres or being on 75 and working 25 of it is what you've got that you're taking off of right now. I mean, that's a long time. And you guys, you are not going to believe this, but they took me into like their barrel room and their old tasting room. They literally built it with their hands. Like, they built it. There's these huge beams. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'll put it in the content video. But so when I hear 25 years, I think that's a whole different 25 years than a lot of places. And then they also have a winery a few miles down the road. So the winery and the distillery were both here.
Yes.
Or you were sharing that building that they built with their hands.
Yep.
And then one day, I'm assuming it just went, one of you guys got to get out.
Yeah, there's both grew and there just wasn't enough room. But yeah, my brother-in-law, Andy's brother, Greg Koenig, is an architect. And so if you come out here and see the buildings, he designed all of these buildings here. And then Andy and Greg and another friend and a lot of people have helped, but they built everything from the doors to the beams. It's all their handiwork. And the building we're in right now, the tasting room, it'll be 2 years this fall that we've been open. They also, during COVID, did that. They built this building, my nephew, Greg, and Andy built it pretty much most of it themselves with the, help of electricians and plumbers and that kind of thing. But yes.
You got to get the license folk in here for that
right,
stuff.
That's right. You got to pass inspections.
They got to pull those permits. But so I get it. COVID, we're all kind of doing this. But no, not you. You're making hand sanitizer. You're building buildings.
Yeah. Well, I like to be busy and I like to be industrious. And I thought, we need to start another project. So it was very interesting time, certainly. But
see, I think of William Davila right there. You know what? My plate just got manageable. Let's do a new project.
Yes, that's pretty much how we operate here for the last 25 years. I often joke, I call it management by crisis. That's how we operate.
That's fair.
But there's never a dull moment. I think we have a lot of fun. We have a great team here, and there's something new every day for everybody. So it never gets dull around here.
Yeah, and I actually made some overlays of some of your team, which, you know, I've never done remote, so it took a little longer to get ready. So all those are going to be incorporated into the content video that I will send you. You know, I don't know. I just heard Shireen likes to edit, so.
She's a multitasker.
Shireen can do anything.
Yes.
I wish I had 6 more people like Shireen. She's the best.
And she's sweet. I like her.
Yep.
I mean, I said that on camera. Okay.
All this is on camera.
So this is a really good question because this leads into a question I was going to ask you. Michael S. says, what are Idaho shipping laws and or their ability to ship out of state, since you are wonderful viewers are nationwide? So we are in a state liquor controlled state, ABC, but you can purchase bottles here at Koenig. And that's not always the case. You have to go to a state-run liquor store. And I think I know the answer to this, but I want to make sure. I have a couple questions to follow up. A, what is the shipping laws for you? And B, what is it like to be in an ABC state and have a distillery?
So we're not allowed to ship anything out of our store here to, you know, no direct to consumer, not yet in Idaho anyway. Hopefully, maybe it would come sometime, but it isn't yet. So for now, everybody that wants to buy something in Idaho needs to come to the state liquor stores.
Okay.
And we are a state liquor store that's run by the state here as a contractor, but there's 70 some state liquor stores where all our products are available.
So yeah, so you are a state liquor store.
Correct, yeah.
Yep.
We're
Which
contracted
is
with the state.
amazing.
Yep. So, but it's been great. The state has been really good to us. They really favor local products. They've been great partners of ours for 25 years. And had they not been good partners, we would never have survived. So
Yeah.
It's a great organization and we're happy to be partners with them.
So I look at Idaho State liquor stores, and it's literally you're driving down the road and you see that red sign that says liquor store. When I found out that you guys were a liquor store, I mean, of course it's for Koenig products, but I'm like, that's the best liquor store ever.
And the other thing too is we do partner with a company out of California called High Time Wine, and they have a website, hightimewine.net, and they have most of our products. And so they can ship out to, I believe it's 22 states.
Okay.
That allow shipping of alcohol, especially spirits.
Somebody clip that for me, please.
Wine.
Hightimewine.net.
That's correct.
Okay, and I'm going to, hopefully someone put a marker because I'm going to go back and get that, and I will put it in the comments. So if anybody is interested, there will be a link that you can directly go to. So. Yeah. That's cool.
It is. It's a great opportunity for us to get it out in the market and have it shipped because we can't do it for them.
So being in, and I actually don't know the answer to this, being in an ABC state, are you able to like do barrel picks? Other than, I know you did something with Craft Lounge, but like, what does that look like? Are you able to do that with only Idaho restaurants, or how does that work?
Anybody that actually has a license, so they'd have to have a liquor license, a bar liquor license, they can do the barrel program with us, a single barrel, as could state agencies or whatever. But we're actually thinking about partnering with the liquor division to do a director's cut, it would be called, for the director of the liquor division, and they want to do a single barrel. So that will probably go out to all the state stores. It'll be a limited release, so it'll be one barrel. But we're working on something like that with them, and a couple of other restaurant channels, and Craft Lounge wants to do another single barrel with us also.
Well, somebody at the Craft Lounge has an amazing palate, because that was really good. So you can do barrel picks if you're a restaurant with a liquor license, or a bar,
yes.
or state agency, I think you said. So Idaho can do an Idaho state pick. Okay,
Correct.
Got it. And I don't know who's doing the Idaho picks now, but whoever it is, they're getting better and better.
Yeah, they've got a new barrel program where they bring in a lot of nice whiskeys from Kentucky and all over the place that are really good, and but it's limited release, and they kind of call it the liquor division selection or whatever.
Yeah, it's like the ISLD.
Yeah, whatever.
Some of you guys have had that.
And it's
the Ezra Brooks is amazing. I love the Idaho pick from the Ezra Brooks. Let's see, what else we got here, guys? we go ahead and start throwing your questions in if you have anything you want to make sure they talk about. I think I've got a little delay on mine. So what's coming up? Like what's the big focus right now that you're excited about?
The big focus this year is the 100th year Caldwell Night Rodeo, which we're formulating. We're also working on the Whiskey Club release that's going to be April 20th for the spring quarter. And other than that, we're, always looking at new projects and trying to move forward and see where it takes us. But more single barrel stuff you'll probably start to see, and some other projects that are not yet named. How's that sound?
Not yet named. All right.
Some exciting new.
Yeah, we were like, can we say?
Not yet. Trademark laws are part of the problem. So.
Okay. So to be told later.
Something good. Something new is coming. So it'll
totally new.
It'll be very exciting and should be great. So,
Ooh, okay.
a teaser for next time.
Shireen, you got to let me know when you can tell.
Yes.
So.
I will, trust me.
And-
I've got the day I
Yes.
can be like, yes, fine, everyone.
Wow. And like I said, I really appreciate you guys having the time. I mean, I know everybody's lives are busy, and I come in Saturday an hour before you close. I walk into the tasting room and it's a big building and there's just wall-to-wall people. And I was like, that's amazing. And if any of you guys won the flight boards that we gave away, about a year ago, that came from here. That's where those came from. I'll probably pick some up while I'm here, so watch out for those mystery boxes.
And Andy built those as well.
Oh my gosh, Andy.
Yeah,
And those are from your barrels?
those are from barrels that we take apart and make little flight boards out of. So
Oh
I do
my
have some
gosh.
help, so I didn't do them all by myself.
No, but
It was my
his
idea.
hands in a lot of
Yes.
things.
That's amazing.
Tease Andy that all he does is drink bourbon, and that's all the distiller does.
Yes.
When do you have time to actually drink bourbon?
Not very often.
When you're blending?
Usually I go home and drink a glass of water and go to sleep.
I was blending today, so.
Yes.
Oh, hey, guys, honestly, if you're coming out here, I know we're doing the Alzheimer. I did talk to Adriana. We are going to do the Alzheimer fundraiser here in Idaho again, probably at my house. My goal personally for her is we're going to hit 20K. So those of you that do come down for that, or I know we're working on an Intermountain meetup, let me know. We'll make some arrangements to come out here and do some tastings at Koenig. And I'm not gonna lie, so my favorite so far, I was gonna ask this one, do I have this in a glass?
That would be the barrel.
That's this one,
That'd be the
okay,
barrel
that's the one I
proof.
haven't tried, I don't think, so.
That one's my favorite.
Is this your favorite? That was my question I didn't ask. There's two questions, so Shireen, let's start with you. What is your favorite, of all the spirits, what's your favorite?
Oh my goodness, all the spirit.
All of them.
I gotta say, barrel proof, it just never ceases to amaze me. You just pull so much out of it. The finish is so beautiful on it. It's my absolute favorite, just for sipping.
That finish is long.
Yes,
That's
it is.
the longest one of everything I just tried.
Yep.
It's still going.
But yeah, I mean, I honestly, there's a lot of places where you can't say like everything they produce is good.
Mhm.
My job is so easy because honestly, Andy has produced every single thing is an amazing product. It may not be, a certain person's taste palette or whatever, but all of them are phenomenal products. So it's very easy for me to go into a bar or restaurant or any place that's familiar or not with us.
Yeah.
And they're just like, wow, how do we pick? Like what's going to work well for us? Because
This is my favorite that I tasted, the barrel proof. That's really good. That's really good. Is this out there in the?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
All right. William, I got the Amex. Okay. And what is your favorite cocktail?
Ooh, favorite cocktail. Oh gosh. I think that's a harder question. Again, I think it kind of just depends on the spirit.
Mhm. So what's your favorite vodka cocktail?
My favorite vodka cocktail is probably with the peach. I know we're plugging Craft Lounge a lot, but, actually another one that I've tasted is in Kachi. over in Eagle, they have a peach ring, and then she's a peach at Craft Lounge. Like, there's just so much that people do with peach that is so different. I love going around to the different bars and restaurants that I service, and
so you like the peach cocktails that they're doing. So I'm going to Kashi soon, and I'm gonna have to try that.
It literally tastes like the candy, but way better. It's
Okay.
the candy, but it's like, oh my gosh, this is reminiscent of that, but it's just so refreshing.
Peach. So I haven't had their huckleberry vodka yet, so I'm super excited because y'all know I love a good huckleberry vodka. I don't just drink whiskey. So what is your favorite spirit?
My favorite spirit probably would be the Caldwell Night Rodeo mash bill. I like that one really well. I like the age of it. I like the smoothness of it. On the whiskey side, on the vodka side, I like the potato vodka really well because it's really good in vodka tonics, which I like pretty well, or like vodka, Greyhounds, grapefruit juice, that kind of stuff. So kind of depends on the day of the week, but and I love the old fashioned with the house-made syrup.
What do you put? Do you put the Caldwell in your old fashioned?
Usually, yes. Or I've been using the, I shouldn't tell anybody this, but I've been using the double oak to make them, which is kind of, probably shouldn't be doing that. I should be drinking that. But
you know what?
I've got a bottle at home, so that's what I've been doing.
The whole thing of my show is you drink what you like and you drink it how you like it. And that's your choice.
But those old fashions are great, and that syrup's really, really good. It's aged in one of our used bourbon barrels that we
I didn't know
gave
that.
to them to make the syrup with. So it's a cool product.
That's my favorite beverage at Craft Lounge is their smoked old fashioned.
Yep. Okay.
It's delicious.
Well, everything they make is good, so they make my spirits look even better.
God, you'd think they sponsored us. I didn't even tell them we were going live.
Yes. Yeah,
I should have told them.
Talk to them. Should have brought them in here.
Next time. What about you? What's your favorite spirit?
I would have to say the pear brandy is probably my favorite. And the way I always recommend, I love it by itself, but I really love it with champagne for special occasions. You just put a little bit in the bottom of a champagne glass and then fill it with champagne. And as the bubbles release, they release that lovely scent of the pear. And then it's just a really subtle taste in the champagne. It's so good. I love to serve that.
I had to write it down. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. And then of the whiskeys, I like the rye.
Do you?
I do. And Craft Lounge has taught me how to make a rye old fashioned that's really good as well.
So Kathy Jo loves a rye old fashioned every now and then as well. I'm curious. So I didn't even think, I don't have a lot of knowledge of brandy, but I would never have thought to put brandy with champagne.
It's delicious.
Oh my goodness, yes.
So,
A lot of places you can pick up a cocktail around town that do that.
okay. So we may have to eventually just do a whole nother content video just on cocktails.
Yes.
We can do that.
Guys, thank you for joining the pop-up. I know I don't usually go on Saturdays, but coming up here at 9:00 at night on a Wednesday, this just seemed like much better. The day's gorgeous. I'm going to go walk the grounds and get some more pictures and some more B-roll. And thanks again. Patrons, thank you. You guys are the ones that are making this happen. I appreciate that. I know I saw MC dropping some links. So check out Koenig. I know she just dropped it. It was... Gosh, I'm old. All right.
Is it High Time Wine?
High Time Wine. And that's where you can pick up some of their products. The other thing I'm going to tell you guys, they are reasonably priced. I cannot believe. So this barrel proof that I love so much, this one here was what, $79?
Yes.
$79. And then the others, it goes down from there for the other ones. So, like the Caldwell Rodeo. I don't know. Is that on that website as well?
It's $34.95.
It's actually $32.95 because we're trying to move it so we can get
The new one. Okay. So if you buy last year's, you save a little money.
So yes, the 99 proof, which is a great product. It's on sale at the liquor division throughout the state system for $32.95, which is a great value.
Crazy.
And the regular Seven Devils is $29.95. The rye, the honey, and the bourbon.
That's amazing. And this right now, I mean, I'd pay $80 hands down all day long.
Well, you can
It's
take
good.
2 then. How's that?
Okay, again, I have the Amex, so, all right, guys.
If it isn't in their local liquor store, all they need to do is request it, because right now, the liquor store manager does need to pull it in as a special order. But the more people we have that are starting to realize what a good product it is, it will go off special order eventually, and we'll be able to just stock it regularly. So please.
The barrel proof ones?
Yes.
Okay,
Liquor store, and specifically ask to have them ordered in if they don't already carry it.
okay. Now, are you guys in other states other than Idaho right now?
We are a little bit. We do a little bit in the Northwest, Washington, a little bit in Utah, Wyoming, Montana, a little bit in California there at High Time Wine. And then we sell a little bit of our brandies on the East Coast in Pennsylvania, because there's a European community there that kind of more of a niche market for it. But
I love how he says a little bit, and then he names like 12 states.
but generally speaking, most of our business is all here in Idaho. And
Because you're a hidden gem out here in Sunny Slope.
so,
all right, thank you guys. I will see you Wednesday night. So don't forget, Wednesday night we got JT Mellett coming on. Thank you again. I love supporting local, and you also know me. I'm going to be the first one to tell you, like, that's not my jam if it's not something I'm going to like. So I was excited because the little bit that I'd had from Koenig, I very much enjoyed. Some of it is on the younger side, but it's not the younger that has all the, sometimes you say younger and people go, I don't get that. And they're very transparent, which I love. They're grain to glass, which I love. And they're keeping it reasonably priced, which I love. So thank you for letting me come up here and meet your wonderful team and walking me through. I'm going to go see more. We ran out of time. I didn't get to see it all. So thank you for my friends in the background that helped out today because I couldn't have done it. So I will see you guys Wednesday, and be safe. Have a great Saturday. Bye.
Thank
thank you.
Oh my gosh, I love this.